Initially, a lot of people come out of curiosity because a lot of people don't know what Reiki is about, and they've heard through a third person that, why don't you try it out? It might bring you some calm. And I think the main point is stresses of life, People are looking for a break. It's just that they've exhausted all the other options of, talking therapy and, physical activity, that the spiritual aspect. I think a lot of people kind of don't really dabble into it because it is a little bit woo-woo. So it throws people. They're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to kind of work. What am I doing? What am I looking for? So actually, a lot of people that walk through the door are just exploring.
It's just beautiful how there are so many realms of guidance and support and love available to us if we can just give ourselves permission to reach into them and to be open to receiving. And it helps us to feel not alone. That really helps a lot of clients as well.
We don't realize that we're actually offering Reiki to ourselves in so many different ways. When a child falls down and hurts their knee in a playground, the first thing that they're going to do is cut their hands on their knee and keep hold of it. You don't realize that child is giving themselves Reiki. They're giving the energy that they have within themselves to alleviate that pain that they're experiencing. And so you don't necessarily have to be attuned to Reiki to be able to heal or give yourself that energy that is going to bring about positive shifts in your body.
Welcome to season 2 of the Epiphany Dialogues, Komal.
Thank you for having me, Zimmy. So nice to be here.
Yes, thank you for taking out time for us. I just have a quick update for our audience before we get into the main segment. So Nick, my co-host from season 1, has been called to new adventures. So season 2 will just be me and my guests. I'm a little nervous doing this on my own, to be honest. But I'm hoping that you all continue to enjoy the conversations and they bring you the insights and epiphanies as always. Although Nick will be very kindly still taking care of the producer's responsibilities, in the background. So he will be here with us in spirit, and you never know, I may be able to get him back for an episode or two. So yes, just wanted to let everyone know about this. And coming back now to our guest for today, Komal Patel is an intuitive Reiki master, spiritual guide, herbal alchemist dedicated to healing and empowerment. Through energy work, herbal wisdom, and deep spiritual insight, she helps others reconnect with their true selves. Passionate about guiding others inward, Komal believes that we all hold the power to heal ourselves. Her role is simply to support, hold space, and gently guide you back to remembering who you truly are. Welcome, Komal.
Thank you.
Shall we get right into it?
Yes.
All right. So what is an epiphany that changed the course of your life?
The biggest epiphany that changed the course of my life was when in 2016, my son got diagnosed with osteochondroma, which is a tumor that grows on the bone. And for him, it was on his wrist. And what started off as, a little bump, and we just thought, oh, maybe he's kind of just got a bit of a bruising. To hear the word tumor, even though it was benign at 2.5 years old, kind of really threw both myself and my husband off course. And, it's when you hear about your child having to suffer with an illness or an injury or, something of that kind of grandeur, it really throws you. So yeah, that was the starting point. I'd actually been practicing Reiki on myself, so I had trained level 1 and 2, but I wasn't practicing as consistently and regularly as I probably should have. And so upon getting that news, I saw it as an opportunity for me to really tap into that and see how I could help him on the healing journey, as well as help myself. So
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Wow. Poor little baby. Like, that's 2.5 years old. He
yeah.
probably wasn't even really able to express the pain or whatever
No,
it
I
was that
mean,
was, yeah.
yeah, he didn't really understand what was happening. And the doctor that we had, he was amazing. He is his case was very rare because usually osteochondroma happens to children that are above 7 years old and also to older, adults,
Right.
mainly like from 70 years plus. And
Mm.
usually it occurs in like the leg, not so much around the wrist. And
Right.
so he was like, "Oh, it's very strange to know that a 2.5-year-old has got this." Um,
Yes.
so yeah, it was that even just managing uh him and making him try and understand what was going on was very, very difficult. And
Of
so it
course.
was one of the reasons why we had a break. The doctor was like, let's see how we get on. Let's see how the growth goes for a year because it was benign. It was of no kind of immediate danger to anything else. It was
Right.
more, he was like, developmentally, he wanted Mayan to grow a little bit older so he can understand what was happening to his body, as
Sure.
well as seeing like the bone growth, because obviously as a child, your bones are still growing. And
Right.
so it was really important for the doctor to examine and kind of monitor how he was kind of getting on. And it was only until a year later that he recognized that his bone had stunted growth in his arm, and so his
Wow.
arm was literally a centimeter shorter than the other arm. And so that
Wow.
was when he was like, yeah, we're probably going to have to operate on it because you need to give it enough time for it to kind of grow back.
Sure. And it was
So
during this year that you started practicing
yes,
Reiki more? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it was to manage my emotions and what I was going through as well as manage his. I noticed that with each session that I had for himself, there was an element of calm that was kind of seeping in. He was sleeping much more better. The anxiety of going to a doctor was kind of diminishing because you
Right.
know how kids are with doctors. You think about vaccines and, just the whole sitting in that waiting room. It's daunting experience.
For anyone, really, but yes,
Yeah,
kids, of course.
yeah. So it was interesting to see that kind of unfold. And then when it came to surgery day, I think that was the most kind of profound moment for me, as well as the doctor that was doing the surgery on him,
Right.
because um, the amount of calm that he had when he before he went into the surgery and they applied the anesthetic to him, and then also when he kind of came into consciousness,
Oh,
his
wow.
recovery period from consciousness um, to when he could first have his meal was very quick, and the doctor had never seen that, especially with children,
Beautiful.
but with just generally anyone that he's done surgery on. And he was
Right.
like, "What?" His initial stance was, "What magic has happened? Like, what's been going on?" And he saw
Oh,
my little
wow.
Reiki guidebook and was like asking questions. Have you been doing Reiki on him? And so yeah,
Right.
that was the turning point where I was like, okay, you know what? It's not that I underestimated the power of Reiki. It's more I didn't realize how powerful it is, you know.
Yes.
And
Yeah. And were you doing the Reiki on him and yourself by yourself, or were you going to someone for it?
no, I was doing it by myself. So
Ah,
all literally an hour before he went into surgery, and then the 4 subsequent hours that he was in surgery, I was doing Reiki, and then I did it for an hour after. So yeah, it's a total of like 6 hours of Reiki on him. And yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing to witness.
Oh, I can completely imagine that, but also, like Reiki, like you said, is very powerful, but then the power of a mother's love combined with that, like I'm sure that's where more of the magic came from, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it was,
Okay.
yeah. And then throughout the whole of his recovery period, right up until the point, I mean, he had pins put in his arms, and these pins were literally like, you can imagine a small child, and the pins are like
Yeah.
literally this big. And every day you had to turn, there's like a
Oh,
little key thing that you had to turn to kind of lengthen the bone.
of
And then when it
course.
came to taking it out, the doctor basically said, would you like him to go under general anesthetic again, or would you like for him to have the pins removed in clinic? And I just thought,
Mm,
he doesn't, I don't want him to go through the whole ordeal of going under
yeah,
general anesthetic. So I said, let's try local. And if it really pains him and it's too much, then, we'll think about, going back into hospital. So again, I pulled out the Reiki, and I was doing it whilst he was taking and administering the pins, and he took them out. He did not cry. He didn't wince that
oh my
whole
God.
time up until the point that he saw blood. When he saw the
Right.
blood, that's when he cried. But when I asked him about the pain, no pain. And that again, the doctor was just like I'm so shocked. I don't even know a kind of how to. Speechless is the word, you know.
Of course. I'm so glad that you had this tool and, this guidance with you. Isn't that like just so divine to have that when you needed it?
Well, I truly do believe in divine timing, and I do honestly believe that I was kind of presented with this tool at the right time, even though
Yeah,
I had got my qualifications, it was almost a year prior, but this was the turning point.
right. And then
Yeah.
how did you take it forward from there? How has it created more magic in your life?
So actually it was my husband, he was like, "Oh, you've always had that nurturing nature." And he was like, "Well, why don't you try it just for friends and family and see how it goes?" And so I started offering um, to do Reiki for friends and family. I did distance healing. I did a lot of in person with friends here in Dubai. Um, and actually, it was friends then that had encouraged me and said, "Why don't you offer this to the wider kind of public?"
Yeah,
They would tell their friends about me, and their friends would then. It started off on a referral basis. To be
right.
honest, I wasn't
Yeah,
brave enough to really put myself out there, but yeah, I started on a referral process, and I think Facebook, British Mums Dubai, was basically my platform. I think
right.
through recommendations, I got a lot of clients through
Oh,
that.
that's
So yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Okay. And tell me what seems to be like the predominant objective that people come to you for healing, or if is it very diverse?
I think initially a lot of people come out of curiosity because a lot of people don't know what Reiki is about, and they've heard through a third person that, why don't you try it out? It might bring you some calm. And I think the main point is stresses of life.
Right.
People are looking for a break. It's just that they've exhausted all the other options of, talking therapy and um physical activity, that the spiritual aspect. I think a lot of people kind of don't really dabble into it because it is a little bit woo woo. So
Yeah.
it throws people. They're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to kind of work. What am I doing? What am I looking for? So actually, a lot of people that walk through the door are just exploring, just
Right.
want to see where it takes them.
And that's a good space to be in, I feel like, when it comes to our kind of work, because the more you're open and curious, is the
Yes,
more space for healing and growth, right? So I
absolutely.
like that when people say, yeah, I'm just curious, or, somebody told me about this and I thought, why not? Which is, I think, a great space of openness, where magic can happen.
Yeah,
Um, so just to fulfill my curiosity. How is your son now? How old is he? How is his arm? Is everything good?
he's amazing. He is now 12 years old. He has the war
Oh,
wounds, the scars to show for it. But apart from
well,
that, there are no other issues. He's grown into a healthy, wonderful young boy. He has unfortunately had a few other issues along the way. But again, you realize the tools that you have and how that can help you move forward. And I think his resilience with that episode is a testament to the person that he has become. And
wow.
he's very fearless. I think boys and children of that age usually are. But I think the way that he sees kind of trauma, physical trauma, he's literally been able to use the tools that I have used on him to do the same thing for himself. So he understands the power of, okay, Reiki, I've explained on many occasions to other people and their children, we don't realize that we're actually offering Reiki to ourselves in so many different ways. When a child falls down and hurts their knee in a playground, the first thing that they're going to do is cut their hands on their knee and keep
Yes.
hold of it. You don't realize, but that child is giving themselves Reiki. They're giving the energy that they have within
Mm,
themselves to alleviate that pain that they're experiencing. And
so
so
true.
you don't necessarily have to be attuned to Reiki to be able to heal or give yourself that energy that is going to bring about positive shifts in your body. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess we have all been doing that, just naturally, intuitively, in different ways for ourselves. But for people who don't know yet about Reiki and what it involves and how do you get attuned to it, could you tell us a little more about that?
So Reiki is basically energy healing that was founded by Dr. Mikao Usui, who is Japanese. There are different variations of Reiki out there that you can be attuned to. It really comes down to what you resonate with. Like I mentioned before, divine timing for me is very important. And at the time that I was looking for um, energy healing, this is the first thing that had come up. And there are various different elements of why I chose that drew me to it. Um, the way in which you get attuned with this particular Reiki is it is done from your master to a group. Otherwise, there are other ones where it is done from master to individual.
Okay.
Not that that makes any difference, but this is something that I just felt very much drawn to. And the way in which Reiki works is you channel through intuition. You say a prayer, you set your intuition, and it is something that you do hands off on a patient, and
Okay.
you allow the energy that you're basically a conduit of energy. So you allow the energy that you are channeling to then go to the person that you are serving that Reiki to. And you allow your intuition to take you wherever that kind of stagnant energy is in the body. Um,
Right.
and it's when you feel that heaviness, it's almost like the exercise that you do at school where you have someone cupping your hands on the outside and you're putting pressure and you're pushing out and
Right.
you're able to then feel the field of energy around this imaginary ball. That is
Right.
basically energy that you're holding on to. Reiki is very much exactly the same thing, but it's done in a slightly different way. So you were able to feel the difference between you know, the different layers of energy that a person is holding on to. Yeah.
Okay, very, very well explained. I had no idea that there was a hands-off version of Reiki, so thanks for that. I thought it always involves touch, but you can do it distance as well. That's what I had heard till now,
Yeah.
and that it
Yeah.
involves some what do you call them?
So
Uh,
there are symbols that you,
Symbols. Yeah.
yeah, so there are four different symbols that you basically, in and amongst the prayer that you do,
Mm-hmm.
you then basically evoke those symbols on your patient. And each
Okay.
symbol is basically tapping into certain or different areas. So you will have one for physical issues. You will have one for emotional and mental. You'll have one for distance.
Right.
So it's when you apply those symbols that you're then, you know, that conduit, that you become that conduit of energy kind of thing. So yeah.
Wow, how interesting. And are the symbols kind of like sacred geometry, or is it like a different type of
No,
approach?
they're I honestly, I don't even know how to describe it. They are not
Sure.
to do with sacred geometry. It's something that Dr. Usui created.
Okay.
Um, and it's related to, you know, how he basically founded those symbols. They shouldn't
Okay.
actually be, I mean, you'll see them all over the internet now, but there was a time, you know, many, many years ago, we're talking, where those symbols were not to be shared openly. It was almost like it was kept
Yeah. Sacred.
sacred. Yeah,
Right. Okay. All right. And there are different levels of Reiki as with any other modality, I guess.
there is. So level one is for you to do on yourself and yourself only.
Okay.
Level two is for you to do for yourself and others. And level three is master level, which is where you're then able to attune and teach others.
Right. Okay. Beautiful. And
Yeah.
and you've completed all these levels.
All three. Yeah.
Okay. And so you could, if I wanted to learn from you, you could teach me.
I could absolutely teach you.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something to look forward to in the future, I'm sure. I have been interested. I mean, I did study pranic healing and theta healing and other forms of energy healing, and I
Yeah.
kind of do my own version of them. But Reiki, I think because I felt like it has to be hands-on is probably what, made me step back from it a bit because when I started on this journey, I had a great, huge personal space and I wasn't entirely comfortable. I'm on the autism spectrum as well, so it's not always comfortable like to touch people or to be
Yes.
touched. And so
Yes.
I felt like, okay, that's probably not for me, but I
It
am
is
much better with that.
traditionally it is actually meant to be completely hands off. You're
Right.
not
Okay.
actually meant to touch. It's become, I mean, I always ask my clients, is it okay for me to touch? But
Right.
generally speaking, no, it doesn't involve any touching at all. Fully closed, no
Yeah.
touching.
Right. Sure. And
Yeah.
how long does a session last generally?
Um, Typically a session can last 45 minutes. I go over to an hour for my sessions. I just feel like I need a little bit of a buffer before and at the end.
Sure.
Um, because even with Reiki, as you mentioned, I've basically created my own modality using Reiki as my main form of energy healing, but I incorporate other elements. Yeah.
Okay. And what would a session look like or feel like with you, let's say, if somebody had a pain or a chronic pain or ache?
I usually, again, lead by intuition. So if a person is coming in to address a specific issue, I would reassure them and say, we will try and tap into that issue. But usually, the first session is always for me to understand where they are at and
Right.
also for them to understand what they're feeling and what they are picking up. And then from that, we're able to establish what then needs to kind of be tapped into. Um, because with Reiki, I honestly believe that it's, if someone comes in and says, "Oh, I have knee pain and I want it fixed," Reiki doesn't work
Hmm.
like that.
Right.
There are layers. And so if that person has a knee pain, actually what they might need to address is something associated with stubbornness.
Stubbornness. Yeah.
And that stubbornness can actually be related to something that is impacting the heart
Yeah.
and also impacting the throat
True.
because you're not able to speak your truths. You're
Hmm.
not able to express how you are feeling.
Yes.
And as uh, in turn, it physically affects you because that's exactly what Reiki is about. You can have emotional and spiritual and physical issues, but they're all incorporated. That triangle,
True.
you're addressing all of those three aspects of mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
And so again, as a client, there's got to be this openness to say, okay, I'm coming in and I would like this issue addressed, but I'm open to see what will come of it. And usually, I would say 99% of the time, clients walk away thinking, "Oh, well, I didn't come in to tap into that. I can't believe that came up, but it makes perfect sense."
Of course.
So,
And you end up healing a lot more than you thought you would.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Any standout experiences come to mind with some really brilliant breakthroughs?
Oh, I've had I've had quite a few. I think the most surprising ones are when um it's usually something to do with a relationship dynamic between parents. Um, that's probably one of the biggest ones that comes up. A lot of people come in not expecting to have to go down that road. And
Yeah.
when things come up, they're like, huh,
Ugh.
okay, how do I deal with this? And I offer them the tools and stuff and then say, it's entirely up to you how you want to kind of move forward. But this has kind of opened up something in you for you to explore. Um, I think the other thing is I've had a lot of messages, so clairaudient messages that have come
Right.
through from spirit
Yes.
that offer a lot of guidance and support. And I think there have been a few instances where people have walked away and whether it's not addressing the grief of that person transitioning or knowing intuitively that there's something there, but not believing it because they think they're going crazy. Whether it's through dreams or like a message that's kind of come through whilst they're driving. They're like, "Oh yeah, I heard this and I heard my grandmother's voice, but I couldn't believe it."
Yeah.
And it's basically just a sign to say, "No, you're not going crazy. This is
Yeah.
real," and not to ignore it.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. It's wonderful when things like this come through, whether it's from their guides or their ancestors or spirit, or even angels that are watching over us, that are assigned to us, right? And so many things come up that the clients have not mentioned, before, and they're so
Absolutely.
surprised when you bring it up, and they're like, "What?" And yeah, sometimes like I'll be like, I see this older gentleman under a tree smoking a pipe. It's like, oh my God, like you don't even have to say more than that. They're like, that's my
No.
grandfather. He has a favorite tree, in his
Yeah.
backyard, and he always goes and smokes his pipe under that. What does he want? What is he saying? So it's just beautiful how there are so many realms of guidance and support and love available to us if we can just give ourselves permission to
Yes.
reach into them and to be
Absolutely.
open to receiving. And it helps us to feel not alone.
Yeah.
Like that really helps a lot of clients as well.
Absolutely. It's comfort. I think again, it's one of those things that we really underestimate, especially when it comes to people who are very close to you, you know, and they've transitioned.
Yeah.
We get so lost in the grief of losing that person that we don't fully understand that they're not actually gone. They're always with you. It's just that
Yes.
they show up in different ways. So whether it's through a Reiki session or seeing a feather that comes down.
Yes.
I know it's something that has been widely kind of spread out,
Yeah.
but these things are they are true, you know.
Hi, everyone. We just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for being here with us at the Epiphany Dialogues, where curiosity meets consciousness. If you're enjoying this episode, please hit the like button, follow, subscribe, and share with like-minded people.
And you're also welcome to join our conversation. If you have an epiphany to share, please leave us a comment or email us. Details are in the description below. And with that, back to the episode.
Right. And how do you use Reiki in your day-to-day life, like for yourself? How does it kind of, I guess, guide you, make you feel connected?
It forces you to tap into your intuition at all times. And so for me, I am able to tell if the energy in my own home feels off. And I will then go around and I will cleanse using Reiki.
Right.
I will use it. I mean, we've had a sick household over the last 10 days. And so it will instinctively come out and I will do Reiki on my children or my husband as and when they need it.
Right.
I do it on food when I'm cooking because, you know, we forget the source of where our food comes from and how powerful it is to pray or to think positive thoughts whilst you're cooking or whilst you are eating, even down to just drinking a glass of water, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I use it all the time. There are times where, you know, you kind of lose touch. And I think it's when you realize, for me anyway, when I have not been doing the things that I should be doing on a regular basis, it's time.
Yeah.
You know,
You
it's for
feel
me,
it.
it's a grounding practice. I always come back to it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you work with people all around the world?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
I've done distance sessions for people in the UK, US, Australia. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And of course, in the show notes, we will have the details of how to get in touch with you and where to find you. But since we're talking about energies, would you be open to talking about energy protection and how perhaps it has become a little bit over commercialized or overhyped and made people slightly fearful about protecting their energies? Would you be willing to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. I think as human beings and with time, we have lost our inner compass. And we've become so dependent on others or other tools to bring us back to ourselves. And I
Very
think with
true.
this fast-paced life that we're living and social media and the plethora of, or actually the saturation of information, especially when it comes to spirituality,
Yes.
I think a lot of people have lost their way. And so this is where the fear has come in because we are not tapping into what we all know is good for us, you know? So when it comes to protection, I say to all of my clients, I say, you know, a lot of the tools that we have are with us. We just choose not to use them, or we feel like we need to introduce something else because someone else has used it and it's worked for
Yeah.
them. But actually, you know, the stronger that you are within yourself, it is fear that brings about, you know, ill kind of feelings and things that you think that have kind of are not sitting right with you, but you're allowing that. It's like we've all got an energetic armor. And the moment you allow any negative emotions to open up, i.e. fear, you're putting a hole in your armor and you're becoming a walking magnet for negative energetic debris, You know, you could be walking through a supermarket and you can bump into someone, and that person might be in a bad mood. And if your armor is somewhat open, you're going to attract that and you're going to take that on like a magnet. Before you know it, you're home and you could be shouting at your children and you don't know why you're doing that. And so, you know, in that moment, yeah, you can pull out the sage and the Palo Santo, but actually all you need to do is ground yourself. And by that, you could, even if you don't have a patch of grass, you can imagine that you're standing on a patch of grass, because it ultimately all comes down to intuition. And you can close your eyes, and it takes a matter of 3 seconds. You close your eyes, you visualize yourself standing in a field with lots of grass. Let there be a tall tree, whichever tree of your choice. And you anchor yourself like that tree is anchored in this beautiful field. You take 3 deep clearing breaths. You set the intention. If there is anything that I have picked up that does not belong to me, I send it back to source. And it's something as simple as that that can shift your entire mood instantly.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah. And how does that correlate with we attract the frequency that we're emitting? See, I'm not to, counter you. This is just for discussion, for people to understand, because for me, it's like, okay, so you're emitting a certain frequency because of the work that you're doing on yourself, and whether you call it positive or negative or whatever, but let's say that's your frequency. And you bump into someone at the supermarket who's had a bad day and all of that. How much really would you pick up from that if you're on a certain frequency and they're on a certain frequency? Would it not be like negligible and easy to just kind of feel it in that moment and know that it's not mine to hold?
100% agree. If you are strong within yourself, to know that you're in this, you're feeling a particular way. If you wake up and you're like, you know what, today's going to be a great day. I feel good. I feel within myself, I'm at peace. I feel quite content. There's an element of joy there.
Yeah.
And that does happen. You are literally in that moment able, exactly as you said, to brush it off. And in actual fact, your frequency might be so strong that the person that bumped into you could look at you, and a simple smile to them, or an apology, or a small conversation might actually shift the mood that they're in into something positive.
True.
So I think it's all resonance, you know, we all resonate at a certain level. And if we allow, it's like road rage, you know. I think there's the saying that sitting in a car and in traffic is the biggest test of where you are at spiritually.
Yeah, true.
Because you can get road rage. It really depends on how in that moment you decide to act on that road rage. Do you decide to breathe it out and, you know, actually send love to the person that is making you feel that, oh, I need to say something, I need to the expletive's going to come out? Or do I just turn around and say, you know what, that person's probably having a really bad day and I wish them, you know, I hope that changes for them. And usually for me, I say the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is the Hawaiian prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. This is like my go-to mantra for everything. If I know that someone is in a bit of a funk, it's that or the Reiki I will channel. Sending you love and light. And, you know, kind of let's hope that changes for them.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. In terms of our energy and how people, for me, as far as I'm concerned, the whole energy protection and, you know, kind of defending your energy and creating these protective bubbles around yourself and all of that. For me, it's as if like you are, if you do believe that your energy is lighter, more positive, better, and that's why you obviously want to protect yourself from the negative, or, you know, it creates so much separation between us because we are one and we are all made of duality. It's not like you're so pristine and so positive and so love and light only that will destroy your, frequency or your energy. For me, it's like, that's a separation that you are creating, which makes you more fearful rather than whatever is coming from there. And secondly, if you are light, how can some darkness, affect your light? Like, light is active, dark is passive. It's the absence of light that creates darkness, and yet we're so afraid of it. We don't want to take our light in there. For me, it's like, I don't know. It has become, like we said in our conversation before the recording, bastardized in the sense that everything is about, oh, I don't want to interact with certain people because, the negative energy, and they drain me of my energy. I think it has been taken a little bit too fearfully, in the sense that if you are, like you said, centered, grounded, filling your cup through various things, which includes self-care and spiritual connection and love and everything else, then a little bit of your energy flowing towards them as light, just helping them. Like, you don't necessarily have to spend hours with people that you feel are negative or anything, but it's like the more you avoid these things, the more you are giving me the impression that your light is so weak. It's so fragile that you just have to focus, like, almost to the stage of paranoia for some people. It's like, oh my God, no, I can't, no, positive vibes only. So how do you exist in this world where you are here to connect and to relate and to support each other? And like, imagine in the tribal, indigenous days, when someone was suffering and the tribe was gathered around the fire and singing, chanting, storytelling, healing, and they say, no, don't come here. We've got the positive energy here. They would embrace that person, So,
Absolutely.
sorry, I just had to put this here because I think a bit more discernment and a little more of upholding, like, your energy. If you do believe it's good, imagine if it was like your morals, and other people had different morals. You're not going to hide your morals. If they're good and helpful, you would uphold them. You would step out with them and you would share them, and hopefully a few more people get affected and the balance changes in the environment.
Absolutely. I think, I think the world has become so focused on love and light that, again, the essence of understanding duality has been lost. Without light, there is no dark, as you mentioned, and vice versa. Without good, there's no bad. Without up, there's no down. The polarity is what is needed in life. And I am a firm believer that, when you have, let's say, frayed relationships, and that instant kind of thought of, oh, well, I can't be hanging around with X, Y, and Z because, you know what, I've done so much work, I'm up here, and actually they'll never be able to match my frequency, because that's ego talking.
Yes.
The people that are meant to be in your space are meant to be there for a reason. Ultimately, as human beings, we are all here to experience life so that we understand what the lessons are, and to understand how we can grow with each other regardless of where that person is at, whether they're positive or negative or in a good place or not. The bottom line is if you have some goodness to impart, you'll be a magnet in imparting that. And that it's up to that person, if that person is open to receive, they will receive it willingly.
Exactly.
If they are not, it's not meant to be. But I think, we get so fixated on this idea of how things should be that we just need to go back to basics. It's not about being told this is how you need to do it, and this is how you need to behave, and this is what you need to say. No, you know what? You have a gut for a reason. Tap into it. Use your intuition. Use your discernment, as you said. Make the right choices of what you feel is right. And you know what? We're human beings. We make mistakes. It's not to say that just because I do Reiki, I don't get angry, and, I don't fly off the handle, and I don't swear, because all of those things happen. I am human.
Yes.
But the difference is I'm willing to turn around and say, you know what, actually, I had a really bad moment. And what can I learn from that? What has that taught me about myself?
Yes.
You know, am I able to transform that emotion into something else? Or vice versa, if I'm able to share this knowledge with someone else and make them think about their actions or something that they've said, then, you know, benefit all around.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when we are so focused on avoiding the dark, the negative, even our own emotions, we try to rush through them and just get to that place, right? So we're doing that, and we're trying to hold that love and light and all of that, and yet these things are just kind of bubbling away in the background. And then there are people who are sent to us to mirror that. And we're
Absolutely.
avoiding them as well. It's like, no, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with it externally. I can't deal with it internally. And so that's why I feel that the whole holding on to that frequency and protecting it becomes such a mission for people. That's why it's like it should just flow. Your energy is never supposed to be the same anyway.
No,
it's so
not.
dynamic. Nature is change. Like, it's literally at all times. There's a flow, there's a vibration, there's a dance, and you are trying to hold on to, like, forget about even trying to hold on to water. You're trying to hold on to energy.
Yes.
It's for me, it's like, please, you're putting so much energy into something that should just be your natural state for most of the time, if you can do it with love, you know? And whenever it's not, that's your invitation to integrate more of the shadow, integrate more of your inner child, you know, or your wounds, your triggers, so that the people around you do not have to be on that frequency where they're triggering you, and people around you start healing or moving away or whatever it might be. And you don't have to focus so much on avoiding people anymore, is what I've learned.
No, ultimately it comes down to really looking within, you know, it's full circle. It's like when a client comes to me, I'm not here to fix you.
Yes.
I'm here to show you your own true potential. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to offer suggestions as to how you can use tools that are available to yourself. You don't have to go out and buy that expensive crystal.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can if you want to, but
exactly.
No, you don't. If you know, if that is not your jam, that's not your jam. You know, you really just need to listen to yourself. Really, just quiet. You know, find that quiet in your mind.
Yes.
You know, it makes such a huge difference.
No, I completely agree. Just, you know, communing with yourself, with all parts of yourself, not just the good ones, let's say, and honoring them and understanding what they need from you, and to be able to give that to them. And when it flows naturally, like when the system works well within, it really just overflows outside. You don't have to worry about being so, like, you know, contaminated by other people's energy. It's when there's a void or a vacuum within us. That's the only way energy flows in. If your energy is strong, and not because of just love and just life, but strong because you are whole, more whole than you have been, because it's a progression. It's not like a destination. But the more whole you are with your own healing and your own energies and your authentic essence energies, it doesn't have to be great or bad or anything, but as long as you're vibrating authentically, then there is not a lot of space for a lot of energy to go in and mess with that. You'll feel it, you'll empathize, you'll know what to do. Yes, touch grass and breathe and everything, which is amazing to regulate. But it won't be like something you're running from or avoiding or afraid of or trying to protect so much. And then that energy that you are saving from all of that, you put out in creating what's aligned with your essence, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, again, it's really, it's the journey of finding out who you are.
Yes.
what you're about. We often
Yes.
don't ask that question, right? Who am I? Oh,
Yes.
I'm the mother, I'm the wife, I'm the daughter, I'm the friend. No,
Yeah.
but who are you really? Like, what is it that
Yeah.
you're trying to achieve in life? How are you moving through life? Are you moving through grace, even with the adversities that you're facing? Or are you at every hurdle thinking, you know what, I can't do this. I need someone to, I need to go and see this person, and I need to go and buy this thing, and maybe I should read this book, or maybe I should listen to this podcast. Just take a moment and just anchor yourself in yourself.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you. Very well said. Is there anything you'd like to add before we close?
No, I just think that the healing space has become very, very saturated. There are so many modalities that you can choose from. There are so many people that you can go and see. And I think the most important thing, as I've been mentioning over and over again, is really tapping into what you can do for yourself and just using the tools that you have within yourself to help yourself. And
Yes.
if you then need the guidance or the help of a healer, as per se, it's using your discernment to really connecting with that person and understanding, do I resonate with that person? Because I think that also makes a
Yes.
difference. I
Yes,
think
very much.
I say this with a lot of my clients that have come to me, especially first time clients who are curious and want to know more. The first thing that I will say to them, they'll ask me, oh, how often should I come back? Now, ideally, after a certain handful of sessions, I don't want my client continually, I don't want them coming back week on week,
Same. Yeah.
because at the end of the day, they're not doing their homework. They're not tapping into their true essence. And so what I would say to them is use your discernment. If you feel like you resonate with me, I'm more than happy for you to come back to me. That's not an issue. But the end game is I want you to be able to go away and take the tools that you've learned from me and to use them and see how you can get yourself out of a situation that you've been in that's, similarly happened to you in the past by
Yeah.
using those tools. I think we become so dependent on other people and things and tools, and we don't need to. Life is very, very simple.
Yeah.
I just want people to be able to understand that they have it in themselves. They have the power to heal
Yes.
themselves. They can do it. Just might
Yes.
need a little bit of, a bit of a help.
Exactly.
But once those
Yeah.
training wheels are off, you're good to go.
Yes. So, yes, definitely be willing to take the training wheels off. And that will come from practicing things within yourself, not just in sessions, and feeling more empowered to be able to go longer stretches without needing that support. And then
Absolutely.
you'll be able to know when to come back for something that has changed
Absolutely.
or shifted, or you want to go to the next level or whatever it might be. And at every level, I feel like people should consider who aligns with me now in terms of the service
Absolutely.
provider, because someone may start, let's say, with CBT, which is
Yeah,
talk therapy, and that helps, like to get
absolutely.
things clear, like in your logical mind, and then they'll be drawn to someone for healing, energy healing, various modalities, and that sets the emotional, energetic, physical, and then if they need to go deeper, then the next level, spiritual evolution or whatever might be, then there might be other people that come on the journey. So yes, don't get too reliant and attached to a certain provider, a certain therapist or healer, because yeah, we're all transforming. Even the
We
ones who
are.
do this work, we're all growing. Our truth changes all the time, and we may
Absolutely.
not be aligned anymore, and that's okay.
I think I just wanted to add in one more thing, and that is with the amount of different modalities that are out there, we also, innately kind of end up doing many things at once. And we
Yes.
don't give ourselves enough of a break so that we can introspect.
Yes.
I think that is also a key kind of factor that everyone needs to consider on when you're on the healing journey. Give yourself the time, the space, and the grace to not dabble in any modalities.
Yes.
I think it's in those pockets of silence where you will find the most profound shifts happen.
Yes. Yes. Very true.
So,
Agree.
yeah.
100%. Before we close, we ask all our guests a question at the end. For season 1, we were asking if you could go back in time and speak to your younger self, what would you tell them? For season 2, however, to keep you all on your toes, I want to ask you, Komal, if you could imagine your future self, your actualized, fulfilled future self, coming back to you today with a message, what would you hope it would be? And take your time. I know this is unexpected.
So that's a really good question.
Thank you.
That's a very good question.
It's based on Nick's book, actually. We started asking the first question about the younger self because in his book, he says basically that it's all happening, obviously, as we know, at the same time, past, present, and future. And there are different potentials where we do better or, not so good. So that's what I'm still sticking to. I'm taking it from there. Like now we talk about the future self coming and telling you something
Amazing.
to help you today
Yeah.
to reach that place.
Okay. So I think my answer to that question would be use the fact that you are a woman of color to create a platform where you are able to spread a message of hope and positivity for other women of color to be able to break free from the kind of oppressive and belittling kind of constructs that we have had with our upbringing. And that is literally just to bring that positivity and hope and spread a message that actually, you know what, you do have the potential. You can reach whichever heights you want, and it doesn't matter what your background is and what you've studied. It's using that empowerment to really, be authentic and use your platform to be able to speak out, which is something that I have struggled with.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And all the more power to you to be able to do that.
Thank you.
And I just want to say that I am going to put your Instagram account in the show notes, but I love watching your reels. They are just so beautiful, so insightful. The energy that flows from you is enough to make anyone stop in their scrolling and just pay attention. So thank you for doing what you do, Komal.
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. I love it. Thank you.
Of course. And thank you for spending your time with me and talking to us at the Epiphany Dialogues. And have a wonderful day.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.